Hello, my name is Jeff Tamero, and today I'm going to talk about Agile Life. Guarantee you don't know what that is, but if you're a software developer, you know what Agile is. Agile is a software development framework which software developers use and what businesses use. As much as that's horribly boring, I learned that 15 years ago. I started to learn a lot about Agile. And I decided to adapt it to my life. I am a software developer, but in my actual life, and this is how it turned out. So Agile, software side of the fence, or business side, I guess you could call it business, because actually I don't think it's restricted to software. In the Agile world, life is broken down to a 2-week block, usually 2 weeks. Unit of work is 2 weeks. So you plan 2 weeks worth of work, and then you execute that work. Every day you have a daily, how are we doing? Is there any roadblocks? Whatever. But basically, at the end of the 2 weeks, you do a review of your deliverables. What did you deliver that you're supposed to deliver? What went right? What went wrong? And essentially it was supposed to help your team be more efficient. Most cases it does. The only real massive benefit that people generally overlook is in the Agile world, if you mess something up, you can go in a different direction within 2 weeks. In other words, you're not going a year and then have to find out we did the wrong thing. It's like fluid, very liquid, very quick, very rapid. So in 2 weeks, you say, hey, this direction we went is wrong. Go somewhere. Go this way. It makes software development side actually more responsive to business's needs. That's why a business likes it. But as I said, this is about how I adapted this to my life. In my life, I chose, instead of 2 weeks, because 2 weeks seems like a real small amount of time for a human being. So I went with 30 days. I went with 1 month. So each month, January, February, March, each month is a new one. End of the month, I spent one half of a day figuring out what am I going to do next month? What I did this month worked right, what did wrong, what didn't work right, and whether it was worth continuing down that path. As crazy as it sounds, sometimes we do things, we just don't like them. I decide one day, I want to try and do some pottery. So for 30 days, I can go over and do some pottery, and if I like it, fine. If I don't, it's not a real big, I guess you could say, an investment. There's not a lot of a commitment there. If I remember correctly, there's a guideline out there. It's called the 1,000-hour rule. And if I remember correctly, the 1,000-hour rule states that if you spend 1,000 hours on any topic, you'll become an expert. I figure if you spend 1,000 hours to be an expert, I should be able to spend 30 days and determine whether or not I even care about it or not. Which is not horribly wrong. It just means, you don't want to waste a lot of effort in doing things you don't want to do. But it also means when you do things like diets and you do things like that, or you change your vitamins. Pay attention for the next 30 days. How is it happening? Is it better or worse? Better or worse? That's the scale that I live by. Is it better or worse? What I like about the system is that it allows you to fix mistakes. And I don't mean mistakes like, oops, I just made a mistake. It's things you didn't think about. Like, okay, well, I didn't know I needed to have all these things to go do, to make pottery. I need a pottery wheel. What? $8,000. What? No. I love it, but as I said, it's just a lot of things you don't really think about. And Agile, to me, helps that. It helps me in the direction I go for software and for my life. How about, me and the dog go for a walk in the state park for 30 days. See how that is. I did that. I found out that I burn up twice as much gas, but I also go over and do 3 times as many steps. So it's a trade-off. But you look at it and you say, you're really saying all the time, is this helpful or is this not helpful? But you're doing it in a 2-week or a month increment. I said I chose a month because a month seemed more natural to me because I'm one person. I'm not a team. So 2 weeks in team world, you got 2 people on a team, 3 or 4. That's a lot of hours. To me, I'm working 8 hours a day. And how many hours extra do I have? Well, it's probably about 8. So what am I going to do with those 8? And at this point, when you do the sprint, so to speak, it helps with a lot of things. I have noticed in my life that it does help with constant improvement. Because now at this point, I notice that I'm not doing very well in this. I can actually either concentrate on it or back off on it. And usually I concentrate on it more, and it gets better for me. So it's more iterative, more, it provides more structure and discipline for most people. Just a mere fact that you could stick to a schedule like that. As I said, you may want to do 2 weeks. I don't know. To me, it just seemed I don't have enough hours to do 2 weeks. If I'm my own boss, well, then I'll have to do 2 weeks because I got time. I'm my own boss. But working for someone else, a month seemed better to me. But it's just like any other guideline. You can go with it or not. And as I said, to me, the Agile system works well in that people make mistakes. We make mistakes. I make mistakes. My dog makes mistakes. And because we make mistakes, we can actually go over and move forward with changing direction. And that's very important because, especially in business, the only constant is change. Just because they want a piece of software to do this doesn't mean in 2 weeks they're going to want to do that. It's just because, at the time, this is what the order said. And then they thought about it and said, how about we do this? So is that 2 weeks worth of wasted work? Yeah, probably. But the next part of it is I got a better answer. And sometimes we provide our own better answers like, I did not like that. Or I like that. Let me do more of that. So hence the reason why I've adapted Agile in my life. And I do strongly encourage other people to do so also. You don't have to be real strict about it or anything. It's just I just usually do what's good or bad, what went well, what didn't. Did I try to go on a diet and only eat radishes this week or this month? It didn't work well, but it seems kind of funny because I never would do a radish only diet, but still, it's just that the ability to change rapidly. And rapidly is kind of a weird thing because, especially in business, you can't really turn a ship in a month or 6, most companies. But if you can Agile it, you can do a pretty good change in 2 weeks. You can keep bumping 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks until you get to where you need to be. And that means more money in your pocket. Same thing with software. I learn software all the time. I learn new programs and everything else. The reason I learned them is because if I have the ability to learn them, I have the ability to use them, I gain that knowledge, I move forward. It's as plain as that. Generally, things that end up on my resume, an extra skill, usually ends up an extra $1,000 a year for every skill I have on my resume. I have quite a bit of them. So, anyway, that's what I wanted to notify you today, is that you may want to go over and give that a try. As I said, for people that don't have a lot of structure in their life, it does provide structure and discipline. And you will notice constant improvement. If you don't lie to yourself, you'll get constant improvement. As I said, you may want to go with a month, you may want to go with 2 weeks. You could go with a week if you wanted to. Give it a try. But it's up to you. Thank you for listening.